This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Cape Rugby TV where we talk about what's happening with the Western Province Club Rugby structures. Big thanks to our partners on board with us here at Cape Rugby TV. Score Energy Drinks. Score is of course on board with Western Province Rugby and the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. Thorburn Security Solutions and Yes Electrical down on Voortrekker Road. Folks, we've got a busy show for you this evening. We'll be catching up with Wayne Abrams from the Tygerberg Rugby Football Club Old Boy structure in a second. He's on the line with us now. Then we speak to Mzukisi Godushe. He's the chairman of the Langa Rugby Football Club. They have tied hands with ShopRite in Langa and they're busy with some outreach initiatives in their neck of the woods. And then we'll speak to Robert Fry, the third team coach at Helderberg Rugby Football Club. And Helderberg Rugby has tied up with Open Doors, an NPO in their area. And then we speak to Eric Liebenberg, head coach over at Paarl. And they're busy with some initiatives there together with management and players. And they do some incredible stuff there with some very creative ways of supporting those that are in need in their area. And then we'll move across to the DHL Stormers where we'll speak to Labib Levy. He is, of course, the Stormers skills coach. And we'll find out what the DHL Stormers are busy with behind the scenes. But as I said, on the line with me now, Wayne Abrams, the chairman of the Tygerberg Rugby Football Club Old Boy structure. This Wayne, it's great to have you on the show, man. Yeah?
No, all well, JP. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Wayne, it's the first time that we've chatted with you. In fact, I don't think we've chatted to too many old boys structures before. Tell us a little bit about Tygerberg Old Boys. How long's it been around? What do you guys get up to?
Yeah, we've been around since 2018 when we honored our first team of 1998 that won the Super League A, Western Province Super League A championship. And from there, we just built from strength to strength. We got guys within the fraternity that has been with the club for years. They have come through the ranks, went on, made a name for themselves in this game that we love. And yeah, to name a few, there's we got a Norman Jordan that came through. There's Mark Waller that played for Western Province, Stanley Rubenheimer, JJ, and the list goes on and on. There's Cheris Nicholson. I can sit here and go through the names and we will be here forever.
You've got so many legends there at Tygerberg, all coming through the ranks. It's great to see that's actually that you've got, you know, players who come through the club structure, that play at the club structure, that join the old boys, but that they've stayed involved with rugby.
Yeah, and the guys are giving back, no matter how big or how small the donations are. Examples that I can make, 2019, we were able to buy for the whole under 14 group playing socks. We kitted the under 15s with golfers that year. And this year was actually, we planned to take the under 19 team on a tour so that the boys can see there's much more out there that rugby can bring you if you stay focused, if you stay disciplined. But that's what the old boys want to do, and we're trying to do that with the younger ones so that once they come to the under 19 level, that they don't disappear or run off to another club, that we at least can have them there and come through the ranks to the first team and take the club further wherever the club is going.
When the Old Boys Union, you've also been busy with some outreach projects there. It's of course lockdown, a lot of people struggling out there, and we see, if I look at the information I've got, I mean, you guys have been quite active at helping out on your side.
Yeah, with the start of lockdown, we decided the whole club, the senior management, junior management, the ladies club, we decided we need to give back to the community. And then we decided we're going to have a soup kitchen. We had our first soup kitchen and then the first weekend of May, and we continued there onwards every second weekend. We had donations from a business owner, Angelo Mart. He's a business owner. His business is EnviroCare. We also had 2 hamper runs that we identified pensioners within the community that we know that's closely affiliated with the club, ex-players, and so forth. And yeah, with our friends at Food Lovers that donated 70 pockets of potatoes, onions, and butternut. And then from our side, we bought all the your baked beans and all the other products that we made the hamper out of. Came out of cash donations of all the members within the club. So we had to hamper runs as well in this time of lockdown.
Wayne, that's incredible. I see the supporters that you mentioned EnviroCare, Angela Mart. You mentioned Louis and his brother at Food Lovers Market in Paro. All the old boys, and then the Melon Foundation as well. These are the structures that have been supporting you. Are you doing the soup kitchens mainly at Ravensmead at the community centre?
Well, we do it at the Florida Park, at Florida Park. But whatever there's an overflow with we do nominate one day for at 8 and Angelo and myself will go through and we will distribute food to the neighboring community of Aitzach as well.
But if people want to contribute, if members of the public or companies out there want to contribute to your outreach project, can they do that?
Yeah, they're more than welcome to do that, JP. They can just contact us, the Tigerbook RFC video Facebook page. They can send us a message, and myself or Yari Kiburu will be in contact with them, and we will follow the lead further.
Wayne, from our side, great stuff. These are the kind of programs that we need. So this is kind of leadership and mentorship that everybody needs, and it's great to see that you guys are such a strong driving force there, supporting the club.
Thank you, JP. Well, we're trying to do our best, and one thing that I can tell you for certain, the need is big out there, and there's more and more people that's affected. Not all in the sense of dying of COVID, but losing their jobs and hunger. There was one interview the other day on TV where the lady actually told the reporter, "I'm gonna die of hunger before I die of COVID," and that's a bit sad, and it's burned into my memory, and that's what I'm every time when I think about the people out there, and that small comment keeps coming up to me. There is people who are really in need out there.
Yeah, I know it's very difficult times, Wayne. But it's folks like yourself and your team around you that are making things a little bit easier. So we say thanks to you for that, and hopefully anyone who's watching tonight might be able to reach out and make it a little bit easier for you at the same time. So we look forward to chatting with you again, and we'll follow the progress.
Thank you, JP.
Wayne Abrams there, folks. He's the chairman of the Tygerberg Rugby Football Club Old Boys structure. If you can help in any way, go and find them on Facebook. All right, just go and do a search there for the Tygerberg Rugby Football Club videos page on Facebook, and you can reach out there to either Wayne or to Ulrich Cupido, and they'll get in touch with you. And if you have forgotten those details, you're always welcome to send us your details on the shout out line, and we will pass it on to Wayne. Folks, we'll leave it at that, and when we come back from the break, we'll catch up with the chairman of Langa Rugby Football Club, Mzukusi Gwadushe. Back in a sec. Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV, and we carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. As you know, things are very difficult out there. It's, of course, lockdown. clubs, athletes, etc., staying isolated and unable to train, and the lockdown has been very hard on everybody. Our club structures, many of them busy actively engaging to make things better in the various neighborhoods where they are active. And we spoke to him not so long ago, Mzukisi Gwagushe. He's the chairperson of Langa, the chairman of Langa, and was telling us about their outreach projects that they're busy with. And of course, that was the Save SA project. We've managed to get him back on the line now, looking absolutely fantastic on the other side. Mzukisi, how are you on that side, my man?
I'm very well, JP. Thank you so much for having us on this program today. We're very appreciative to be on the program.
No, well, we're just happy to have you. We've got to ask you, it's been a few weeks since we last spoke to you. How things been going out there on your side?
On our side, JP, since last we chat, we have been busy from the administrative point of view to find ways of helping those that are in need, especially in our community. And it was so fortunate that a call we did made to a big retail shop, ShopRite. They responded back to us saying, look, we can only be able to donate so much. And we're so very, very appreciative of that, and which we managed to select identified families based on the donation that we've received. And we did basically send it to those families, which they're so appreciative. And some of them are crying to say, yo, they've never seen something like this before. As you know, JP, in our communities, we are staying in a very unprivileged areas, especially in Langa, because there's a situation now where there's rain coming in and it's very cold. So those things that small we're doing to them, it really makes them to be very happy.
Mzukisi, let's just go back a few weeks now. A few weeks ago, well, shortly after the lockdown started, I know we were struggling to get you on air for a while, but eventually we got you on air. And at that stage, you were helping out with a primary school in the area, and that was through your Save SA card, where people could join your membership, your benefits card system, I think for 79 Rand a month or so, and then benefits from your club structure would be helping out at the local school.
That is very, very correct, JP. The trust, which is called Tabi Cubes Trust, has partnered with the club and Mokone Primary School, where we've engaged in terms of making sure that the school that is near in our community is basically able to get assistance in terms of the food pulses, as I've said, and Save SA program then has been engaging the club in making sure that we recruit membership from the school and also to the community, where a person can pay 79 Rand to be a member. And by doing that, you basically get a lot of benefits from all the retail shops, and one of those shops is ShopRite, and many other retail shops in the country that you can be able to do that. And by doing that, at least the club will be able to earn some financial small lanyana money, so that we can able to carry the club forward in terms of making sure that the school project and the club is basically organized to make sure that the community is aware of that. JP, thank you.
So you've taken it from where we were now a few weeks ago, you've taken it now to the next level. You've engaged there with ShopRite in Langa, and they're giving you some financial contributions now.
In a way, this is a donation, small token that they said to us, look, from time to time we can see whatever we can, because they cannot promise now because of the nature of the economy, as you all know, JP. But as a club which is in the community, I mean, we do support the retail shop anyway when we buy stuff for our players. So it is basically a hand back from the club, and to make sure that the community is able to support the store going forward and the club.
And Mzukisi, I'm sure that you would gladly welcome anybody that wants to get involved with Langa or help out.
Really much, JP. Anyone who can able to assist us, we are very glad. We're open to any donation, to any person that can able to engage the club through you, and they can able to use our Facebook page to contact us. We are more than welcome to able to assist where we can, JP, because a community club is a community by people. So any person who feels like they can be able to come to the club, we are more than welcome, JP.
And for the folks that that want to get involved, I suppose, what's the best way to reach you?
The best platform, JP, is our Facebook page, and also through your show as well. That they can
we're happy
able
to
to
do
get
that.
information. They can put it to us. Otherwise, we are there in Facebook, email, and everything, JP. So that's we can go all of us.
So it's a simple search on Facebook. Go and look for Langa Rugby Football Club, and they send you a message via Messenger, and they can get hold of you. And obviously, anybody who gets involved with you, they can build on top of the ShopRite contribution, and that will go to individuals that you've identified in the neighborhood, in the area that need help.
That is correct, JP. You are spot on there. That's correct, JP.
That's
yes.
fantastic. Mzee, you guys are doing a great job. You know, I mean, it's unbelievable. We know how difficult it is out there. We've been saying for a few weeks now that our club structures really have stepped up, and it's incredible to know that in every neighborhood we've got a club that has got a project or is reaching out to either support their players or the families of the players, or even in the neighborhood of the club, and it really is incredible. You guys need a big pat on the back. We know how difficult it is out there, and that it's very difficult to help everybody, but every little bit helps. So now you guys are doing great.
Thank you so much indeed, JP. We really appreciate, and I mean, this is basically a platform to showcase that we as a club need to plow back, and I mean, we've played our part in the game, so now we know how important it is to be a human person to the community, JP.
Mzukisi, we're going to leave it at that. We obviously would like to show a lot of your games, and we would like to show a lot of your player profile pictures, and we've been getting some messages from people all around the country to say they've been watching the show,
Yes.
and it's fantastic. So we will look at every possible way of supporting any initiative that you have, but we'll also be where we can show some of the old footage of the guys playing games and some player profiles, so that we keep your players connected to your club.
Of course, JP, no problem, JP. That would be fantastic.
That's fantastic. Mzukisi, we're going to leave it at that, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again then soon.
No problem, JP. And to our fans, please support us. And our Facebook page is there for us, boys, especially there in 19 Langa. We're hoping that boys are happy there. Thank you so much, JP.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mzukisi. There we go, folks. Mzukisi Ngwadushe is, of course, the chairman of Langa Rugby Football Club. Now, remember what he said, and they will, of course, say your contribution will definitely be going into the right hands there. If you can contribute in any way, go and do a search on Facebook for Langa Rugby Football Club. Anything will be greatly appreciated. And if you're unable to reach out there, you're more than welcome to send us a message here on WhatsApp, and you can use that shout out line. I'll give you that number again: 079 690 3550. 079 690 3550. There you see it on the screen right now, and we will pass your message on to Mzukisi, and it'll certainly go where it is greatly appreciated. We know how difficult things are at the moment. Folks, when we come back from the break, we'll catch up with Robert Fry. He is the third team coach at Helderberg Rugby Football Club, and Helderberg is also doing their bit to help in their neighborhood. Don't go away. Back in a sec. Alright, folks, welcome back. It's Cape Rugby TV. We carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. And so many clubs, as you have seen, reaching out at the moment, reaching out to help player structures, folks in the neighborhood, and of course, as we know, everybody needs a little bit of help at the moment. In fact, we know that Western Province Rugby is busy with United Way, and then at Newlands on Saturday they'll be doing a 1,000 parcel handover, but we'll find out more about that a little bit later. But joining me on the line now is the third team coach for Helderberg Rugby Football Club. Now, normally we talk to Helderberg when they're busy playing on the park, but joining me now is Robert Fry. He is the third team head coach. Robert, it's fantastic to have you on the line with us. How are things on your side?
Thank you. It's very great. Thank you for having me.
We obviously haven't interviewed you. We might have spoken to you on the side of the field. Things are a little bit different now.
It's a very difficult situation we're in. Everyone, I think, COVID-19 just went and ripped through the world, and it made things difficult for each and every one of us. That's a bad situation we're in.
Third team, you're involved with the third team at Helderberg. This is the first time we've spoken to other than a head coach or a chairperson of the club. Have you been able to be in touch with your players or your squad, people that you also were probably so excited to get back on the park for 2020?
Yes, we have a few groups on WhatsApp that we communicate with our players all over the board. We communicate with each other. We support each other. If there's anything on, it's a brotherhood. You would know the rugby club feeling is there. Everyone is very, very excited to start 2021. I mean, who isn't?
Robert, of course, lockdown has been difficult, but you guys are a management structure there. You've got first team coaches, second team coaches. You've got a whole management structure at Helderberg. Have you guys been talking and planning behind the scenes what it is that you can do to keep the players active or motivated?
JP, we in weekly meetings with each other, on Zoom and Skype and all the WhatsApp platforms, where we discuss the plans. We had a big Zoom meeting last week, where we discussed the plans for next year, what we're going to do, what our plans are, what our structures is, and what our mission is to reach 2021 now.
Difficult to see the positives in these things, but yes, one must strive to be as positive during these difficult times as possible. You guys as Helderberg, you're involved with an NPO on that side. You're also busy with your outreach projects. Tell us a little about that. You've got a structure there called Open Doors.
Yeah, we are in partnership with Open Doors South Africa, which is a NPO which focuses mostly on psychosocial support group for women and children, but they also run feeding schemes. Our focus points are Luandle, Makassar, Nomzamo, and Strand area. They also have a network of NPOs in Visantekraal, where they have a soup kitchen that feeds 100 to 150 kids per day, every day. So it's just a brilliant partnership to be part of, helping our community, our players, and where we can, just help support rugby.
And the management and players, have they been able to connect to Open Doors?
Yes, everyone has. A lot of our sponsors come from the players. There's from the help that we give to some of the players, and then we get a lot of donations from Somerset West area. There's a church there that helps us a lot, and then always looking for more sponsors, because it's becoming more and more difficult, JP, every day. It's not just, and I don't want it to be a once-off thing. It cannot be a once-off thing. It needs to be an ongoing thing.
So if anybody wants to reach out and get involved with you guys through Helderberg Rugby Club, they will be able to connect with Open Doors. And I'm assuming Open Doors is working together with you to keep things organized and structured and legitimate.
We won't be able to do it without them, as they have all the background, all the necessary admin in place. for the feeding schemes to go forward, for everything to run smoothly. Whoever wants to connect with them can come to the rugby club. We are involved and would like to grow.
Robert, we're gonna leave it at that. Obviously, we need to say to you, firstly, well done, and hopefully you get a lot of support. If people want to reach out, if they want to get involved with you, get involved with Open Doors, how do they do that?
Well, they can go onto Helderberg Rugby Club Facebook page, and then they'll find a link there to Open Doors SA.
Okay.
And then they can also just Google Open Doors SA on all the platforms,
Right.
Facebook, Twitter, all the platforms are open. So it's Open Doors ZA, Open Doors South Africa.
I've just got to mention some of your sponsors and tell me if I missed out anybody. We've got a Ray Libber from is it Ray Libber from Open Doors?
Correct, yeah.
And then we've got Jonathan Hobosh from Lewandle, Rob Green from Rob Green Attorneys, John Davidson of JD Audio, Antoinette Saron from the Fisanta Kraal Soup Kitchen. Is anybody you want to throw in there?
Oh, the Helderberg Coaches Corps. I mean, I couldn't have done it without Koos. You know Koos very well.
Yeah.
And for him to give the green light to run with it is just tremendous support from the club that we receive to do this good work.
Robert, that's great stuff. We'll leave it at that, and we'll obviously say, well done to you guys for keep driving this initiative. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. It needs to stay sustainable. As you say, it'll go on still for a long time, and so well done for the good work that you guys are doing, and we'll obviously keep talking about it for as long as we can.
Thank you very much, JP. I really appreciate it.
There we go. We'll leave it at that, and we'll say to you, remember, stay safe, wash the hands, practice social distancing, always wear the mask, and tell all the players.
And remember, heroes sanitize.
Heroes sanitize. Thank you, Robert. We'll leave it at that. It's absolutely great. That's the kind of those are the kind of positive messages that we need. There we go, folks. Robert Fry is the third-team coach at Helderberg, but not standing back, certainly tackling the challenges. And there you go. Open Doors, NPO in the Helderberg area. They're helping out in Lewandle, Nomzano, Solaris Pass, Strand, Somerset West, Fisanta Kraal. If you want to get involved, please reach out to Helderberg Rugby Football Club. Find them on their Facebook page. You will know where your contribution is going. Helderberg Rugby Football Club partnering there with Open Doors. It keeps things structured. They are organized. Management and players all supporting the initiative. So reach out there. Folks, when we come back from the break, we'll carry on with our conversation with our friends of Western Province Club Rugby. But now we move to the Paarl region, and we'll catch up with their head coach there, Eric Liebenberg. We'll be back in a sec. Don't go away. Welcome back, folks. We carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby, and as you know, a large part of our focus at the moment is around the outreach project that the clubs are busy with. Well, we spoke to Eric Liebenberg not so long ago about 2020 season, and of course, unfortunately, that didn't pan out. Eric is, of course, head coach at Paarl Rugby Football Club, and didn't get those starting blocks out of those starting blocks, but certainly managed to tie up a few different initiatives at the Paarl Rugby Football Club without even batting an eyelid. Eric, it's great to have you back on the show.
Thanks, JP. Well done. How are you?
A difficult time, of course, as we know, things are a little bit challenging, but it's we reach out to you guys. We understand you guys you haven't been holding back since we last spoke. You've been going flat box at some incredible outreach projects. Just tell us a little bit about the last 8 weeks, what you've been doing.
no, we've been quite busy. For me, it was quite important just to get the club together and make them feel like they're actually doing something positive in this time. So we started some little projects in the community where we help elderly people cleaning their gardens, also food supplies to some of the community. There was a big fire not so long ago. We help people, with blankets, clothes, food packages, soup, electricity, nappies for kids, that sort of thing.
I mean, you've got quite a. Let's talk about that in a second. Let's just go back. I mean, I think we're all very interested in finding out exactly what it is you're doing, because some of the things that you're mentioning to me now, I think, are sometimes one doesn't think about these basic essentials that are maybe needed. But so let's talk about that in a second. I think it's very important. But let's go back 8 weeks, or how long is it? 8 weeks? How long have you been doing this now?
We've actually been doing it for 13 weeks now.
13 weeks.
For 13 weeks, yeah. It actually just started with a couple of guys came to contact with players, and they said, Coach, they really feel like they want to do something to contribute to the community, because we've seen all around us that people are struggling, and it's a difficult time, and it was just nice for them to come to me and say, listen, there's some of us that want to help, want to do something, and we got the ball rolling.
Players, management. Combination?
Players, management, all round. The management, they help where they can. The drive came basically from the players itself. I must admit, it was quite nice to know, quite to see that the players want to get involved at this level. It was a bit tough at first because obviously we couldn't get into the community ourselves with the strict lockdown rules. Yeah. So we had to approach the local fire department and speak to them and actually see what we can do without going out there and making contact with people. So every once a week we delivered about 250 packets of vegetables, which make soup. It's like the small little packages, and one packet make soup for 8 people. Wow. And we delivered 850 per week packets of these vegetables to go out in the community.
Let's talk a little bit about the type of initiatives that you take, that you've got there. What we mentioned earlier on, you mentioned things like electricity, nappies. We normally think about groceries and so on, but you're talking about some unique items here. How did you identify, or why did you identify those items?
So what we've done, we've actually created a little players committee. So we've got 7 players, some of the senior players, who's in a little committee, and we actually keep our ear to the ground and trying to find out who needs what in the people, that sort of thing. And we've identified there's a lot of single parents, single mums, that's really struggling out there, that got little kids, little babies. So we sort of buy the essentials, nappies, baby food, that sort of thing, baby powder, baby wipes, just to get them going, because that's a very expensive item. Electricity, we buy people where there's no electricity. We will buy them maybe a week's supply of electricity to get them back on their feet or just get back going. Some people might just need a bit of electricity to get the internet going, to find out, job search, etc., or work from home. So it's just little ways to see we can help.
Eric, those are some creative ways of helping out there, and I think that is quite often is needed, is the thinking out the box scenario there. Tell us about some of the people that have helped you, some of the corporates and sponsors. I think that for these campaigns to be sustainable and to keep going, you obviously need contributions from either individuals who can or corporates out there who can.
Yeah, luckily we've had quite a few individuals in the club itself, players, committee members. Then we also got a few local shops. Nothing major franchises, but just all local shops which we went to and say, this is what we're doing. They'd love to get involved. And then also we have Giant Hyper in Brackenfell that's sort of giving us very good prices on all vegetables, almost at cost price. We understand that, to give these things away is quite expensive, and they're doing it so much already. They got their own charity works. So so we just had to ask around and see what we can do. But mostly, to be fair, it came from our players.
I've got to ask you the question. I mean, you were so ready for 2020 as Paul. You haven't got out the starting blocks yet, but you've tackled an initiative here that maybe I know we can't replace rugby, but do you think that there's a sense of coaching from you in a manner here with the guys now?
What the nice thing to see is actually I learn the players on a different level.
Yeah.
To see them on a Tuesday and on a Thursday just coaching is just a rugby mindset. But now when you start seeing them, they're actually caring about humanity and the community and PAL itself. It's so nice to see that these guys are actual PAL people. They love the town. They love where they live. They love where they grow up. So it's for me, I'm honored to be part of them rather than anything else. So I think this whole episode has made us all a bit stronger. It made us tight as a unit. We've started to learn a lot more about each other as friends. So going forward, I think it's going to be good. Very positive for the club.
What you guys are doing is amazing, and I think these are one of the reasons why teams play for coaches.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. So honestly, can't wait now for the season to start next year. But yeah, the guys are focused. We're all looking forward to it. There's a big desire to be part of what we're doing, and not just rugby. So there's so much input coming from the players. We've actually gained players without even promoting rugby. So they've actually got people coming to say, listen, they're coming either back to the club because they see what we're doing and they want us to be part of what we are doing.
That's absolutely incredible.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that, and we'll say to you guys, a fantastic job, well done, stay safe, and hopefully if anybody's watching, they can obviously use our shout-out line to get in touch with you, and we'll pass the message on, and yeah, tell the players, the management from our side, we say keep it going and good luck, and keep telling us what's going on, and we'll keep promoting it.
Thanks, JP. Appreciate that. All the best to you guys.
Thanks, Eric.
Stay safe.
Eric Liebenberg there, folks. Of course, head coach at the PAL Rugby Football Club, and they're doing some great stuff, some great initiatives. And if you can support in any way, then please send us a message here on the WhatsApp line, and we will pass your details on to Eric in the PAL area. Some very creative ideas there from Eric in terms of how they can support in their neighborhood. Folks, we've got a couple of shout-outs here that we need to do, or speaking about the WhatsApp line. So we've got message in here from Jethro Michaels. He's from Mitchell's Plain in Portland, and he says, keep up the good work. And then we also got a fantastic video here from Melville Lawrence, and Melville is the principal of the Nederburg Primary School in the PAL area. He says he's got 4 former players who became Springbok rugby players. Avril Williams, Chester Williams, Tinus Lanier, and Peter de Villiers. He sent us a little video, and we will try and play out with some of that footage during the course of the show. And then we got a message here from a youngster by the name of Olusian Johnson. And Olusian says he wants to join the Kales River Rugby Football Club. He's under 10 years old, junior, but he wants to play wing at either number 14 or at number 11. Olusian, we are going to pass your details on to the guys at Kales River Rugby Football Club, either Grant Albertine or Donny Isaacs, and we'll see if they can get in touch with you so that you can get your rugby career started at Kales River. And then a message from Lindo Kuchle from Clarkbury in Ngcobo in the Eastern Cape. He says he's a big fan of Cape Rugby TV, and he got their number on the TV channel 263. Lindo Kuchle, thank you very much for your kind message. And then a valuable contribution, and thanks for the input on and off the field. And that is from sports enthusiast Isaac Edwards. Thank you very much, Isaac, for your kind message. Folks, remember, you can send us your WhatsApp shout out on the number on the screen. We'll take an ad break. When we come back from break, we'll catch up with Labib Levy, DHL Stormers skills coach. Back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. You're watching Cape Rugby TV. Of course, DHL Stormers skills coach, Labib Levy. No stranger to Cape Rugby TV. He's on the line with us now, and he's coming up in a second or so. Remember, if you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, 33090. Just SMS the word SCORE to 33090, and you put yourself in the mix to win a case of Score energy drinks. Congratulations to last week's winner, JJ Adams. JJ, you walk away with a case of Score energy drinks. Someone from Cape Rugby TV is going to get in touch with you shortly. Right, folks, joining me on the line now is DHL Stormers skills coach and no stranger to Cape Rugby TV, and certainly no stranger to Club Rugby, Labib Levy. Labib, great to see you again, man.
I'm very well, JP. Nice to be back on the field. Nice to be on Cape TV as well as usual, and just share some of the experiences that we're having with the rugby community. And yeah, all good.
Yeah, it's the last few weeks must have been quite a change for you guys. We've spoken to Jerome, we spoke to Chippy Solomon, and all the excitement about, well, return to play, and of course all the skills that you guys can do now with the ball.
Yeah, I think it after the guys that have been in lockdown, total lockdown, and training on their own and doing individual and Zoom training and all sorts of conditioning. I think the guys are just happy to be back in a rugby environment. It's not ideal in terms of normal, but like the buzzword of the new normal, and we're just trying to make it work in terms of sticking to the protocols, and you have to be creative as coaches, and the players are just happy to see their mates, even though they're not seeing all their mates, because we're working in micro groups. Groups of 5 as per national government regulation, but the guys are happy to actually come into work, do some gym work, do some skill training, do basic training during this phase.
Labib, let's just go back to you for a second there. When we spoke to Jerome, we spoke to Chippy, and we've spoken to you, of course, in the last few weeks about skills coaching, and the fact that the players are able to use a ball again. This seems like something that we took for granted before, and now the players are using a ball, and they're all very excited about just the fact that they can touch a rugby ball.
Yeah, they can touch a ball, and we obviously, like I said, the protocol related, etc. We have to get them. We can't really do tight exchanges, so we can't really do proper scrumming, mauling, etc. So it's a lot of it is basic catch and pass things that we're doing, with a little bit of decision making, or take the ball and just dive with the ball forward and practice recoiling, not proper cleans, But so we, as coaches, we have to be very creative in what we do, and like I said, they're only working groups of 5, and then every now and then we just tweak it a bit, and so we've gone like a station type format, but after every station you have to sanitize the ball, things like that.
Labib, how much impact does it now have, or how much does it add for you to be able to now use a ball in training when you're looking at skills work?
Well, I love it because it gives me opportunity to work in smaller groups, and I can focus on the individual. So when I record the session, I can actually look at him within the session, because only groups of 5, and I have them I'm like 8 sessions a day.
Yeah.
8 sessions. So I'm replicating the same session. Obviously, for them backs, I tweak it a bit. So it gives me an opportunity to actually focus on the individual, which is great for me. We don't always have that time, but we start to bring a bit of decision making in, and making the guys run onto the ball in certain mini structures, etc. And to show that the micro skills we've been working on, how it applies to the game.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions to you, is after such a long layoff, like, where do you start? Is it, do you start on hand skills, or do you start on hand-eye coordination, or is it footwork, spatial distance? But you kind of have explained it in a way.
The spatial distance, it was quite an interesting one that you mentioned. It is not something that people think of, but the first week it was I won't say a horror show, but it was quite interesting. They couldn't, so I did a lot of hand-eye coordination things just at the beginning, getting the guys familiar, using different balls, tennis balls, heavy balls, off balls, like I've said in previous shows. So I just got them just doing a lot of ball familiarization, and then going on to technique, as I mentioned, but then going full on passing, and then getting some defenders in, going through a process, first static defenders, or actually we start static, then we move up, and then we bring stationary defenders. And it's difficult because a lot of the session the guys have to wear a mask, so they communicate what is more. It's not actually.
Yeah, that must be also another thing that we didn't think about before. Is you take the voice to carry across the field. We take that for granted, and now you've got to think about communication on the field.
Communication has become, it actually forces them to communicate louder, but there still comes little errors in which can create quite a funny environment, because the words are misinterpreted. And we're sort of operating with two squads, so we've got like a blue squad and a red squad. So they don't actually see each other. So one group will come the morning, the other the night. Just in case there is some form of contamination with one of the players, then we don't have to put the whole squad into quarantine as such. Then we'll just.
Labib, is it the same when it comes to skills coaching where you're starting now? Is it the same for forwards and backline players?
Yeah, well, like the first 2 weeks especially, we kept it very similar in terms of the basics passing, but since last week we've done a bit of groundwork in terms of diving forward with the ball, recoiling, getting movement, placing the ball, and then we combine it with players picking up the ball and passing. So we brought that element in, and we've also had some split sessions with Rito in terms of just basic lifting and throwing,
Yes, yes. Of course, you're talking about Rito Hlongwane now, who's involved with the forwards.
Yeah, and then from a scrum perspective, because you can't really be going live scrumming or in groups of 8, there's a lot of function working as the skill, with the band work and doing all sorts of animal movement, just to get the guys into that sort of setup.
Labib, just a final question. I would assume that the spirit of the players must be at a high at the moment. They must be very excited about the fact that they're back on the field, that they're able to see each other again, even if they're not allowed to come into contact with each other. How's the gees in the squad?
I must say the energy is quite amazing. It's quite amazing in terms of I think that there's a lot of talk globally around player welfare and wellness and mental health, etc. And we just think sometimes we take it for granted. It's there, but you can see it's quite interesting, and that we take it for granted. And especially in Cape Town, we're very tough. Toughen up, but the fact that you were isolated, I'm sure it has affected some players in that aspect. And just being around familiar environment is motivating for them, and the hears is good. They I don't know, they just seem more eager to be there. Not that they weren't in the past, but
yes, I'm sure.
You have to motivate them too much. The guys come on time. They're coachable. They're keen for the sessions. They're not. They don't seem sometimes too tired. No, they're up for it.
Labib, let's wrap it up. Unfortunately, a little bit pushed for time. But where do you go to now? So you've got the hand-eye coordination. You're working on spatial awareness, and of course, you're still talking about the fact that the communication is a bit of a challenge. But from a skills perspective, what do you do next?
Okay, I sort of plan my week up until when we're going to play in a few weeks' time. But I'm at the stage where I'm having like just forwards, running off the 9, and then just work on some options there, and just for them to make a bit of decision making, but also to get flow in that space. And then from the backs perspective, we look at certain starter plays in our half in particular, in order to create space to either attack or kick into it in a good position.
Labib, we're going to leave it at that. And of course, we say to you and to the players and everybody out there, stay safe. And we can't wait to see you guys back on the park. And I'm sure everybody's very keen to see Western Province Rugby playing against some of the other teams soon.
The guys are excited and can't also wait to get back. And thanks for having me again tonight, JP. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Labib. There we go, folks. Labib Levy, of course, DHL Storm, the skills coach, and he knows plenty about club rugby, and we're always great catching up with Labib. Folks, we're going to leave it at that now, and we'll say to you, remember, follow all the health and safety protocols. Always remember, wash your hands, practice social distancing, and wear a mask. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Score Energy Drinks.